Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into, well, one of the most incredible stories ever told, how we're made. It's the journey of human reproduction, a process that, believe it or not, connects every single person on this planet. It's a wild ride, so let's get right into it. So let's start with the most basic question of all. Why? Why do we, and pretty much every other living thing, go through this unbelievably complex, energy-draining process? What's the point of it all?
And the way our source material puts it is just perfect. It's a race against extinction. Think about it like a massive, species-wide relay. Each generation has to pass the baton of life to the next. It's the only way we keep our species in the game and avoid being left behind forever. The stakes couldn't be higher.
Okay, so if it's a race, how does it start? Well, just like any epic building project, you've got to have your blueprints ready. And in biology, those blueprints are these tiny, incredibly specialized reproductive cells. Now, there's a fancy word for this blueprint-making process: gametogenesis. It's just the creation of gametes. For males, the final product is sperm, and for females, it's the egg, which we also call an ovum. These two little cells hold literally all the genetic instructions needed to build an entirely new person. But here's where it gets really fascinating. The way these two blueprints get made is wildly different. For guys, this process, spermatogenesis, doesn't even start until puberty, but then it just keeps going, pretty much for life, making millions and millions of sperm. But for women, get this. The process starts before they are even born, when they're a tiny fetus in the womb, and it's a finite supply, a cyclical process that ends up creating one big, viable egg at a time. Totally different strategies. And where is all this amazing manufacturing happening? Well, we have dedicated factories for the job. The testes are the sperm factories for males, and the ovaries are the egg factories for females. So once these blueprints are made and ready to go, the stage is set for the most important meeting of their lives. With the blueprints crafted, we get to the most dramatic, single moment in this whole story: fertilization. This is it. This is where two completely separate journeys are about to become one. But this meeting is anything but a simple handshake. It's more like an epic, brutal obstacle course. After insemination, you have millions of sperm starting this frantic, desperate race. Only the absolute strongest, fastest swimmers will even get close to the egg. And even then, one single winner has to fight its way through two tough protective layers. Only after all of that can it finally fuse with the egg, creating a brand new single cell called a zygote. And check this out. The second that fusion happens, bam, an invisible shield goes up around the egg. It's an instant chemical block that slams the door on every other sperm trying to get in. It makes sure only one gets to fertilize the egg. This moment is also the starting pistol for the egg to finally complete its own cell division, something it had paused, just waiting for this exact signal. And from that one single cell, the zygote, the most amazing construction project in the entire universe begins. And just think, this is where you started. This is where every single one of us began. That one cell does not stay a single cell for long. It starts dividing like crazy, a process called cleavage. It just divides and divides, first forming a solid little ball of cells called a morula. That then develops into a hollow ball, the blastocyst. This little ball travels down and finds a home, implanting itself into the cozy, nutrient-packed wall of the uterus. And that moment, implantation, is what officially kicks off a pregnancy. Once it's implanted, something amazing happens. A whole new organ starts to grow, the placenta. It's temporary, it's only there for the pregnancy, but it is absolutely essential. I mean, think of it as the ultimate life support system. It's the baby's lungs, kidneys, and digestive tract all rolled into one, bringing in all the good stuff like oxygen and nutrients and taking out all the waste. And the next 9 months, it's just a complete whirlwind of development. I mean, think about this. Within the very first month, a tiny heart forms and starts beating. By the end of the second month, you've got arms, legs, fingers, and toes. By the end of that first trimester, almost all the major organs are there. It's just an unbelievable sprint from a little cluster of cells to a fully formed human baby. So, what is conducting this entire beautiful, complicated orchestra? Who's in charge? The answer is the body's invisible command center, its hormones. These chemical messengers are the real directors of this entire show. It all kicks off in the brain with a master signal called GnRH. That tells the pituitary gland to release two other hormones, LH and FSH. And those are the ones that talk directly to the testes and ovaries. In guys, this whole chain reaction leads to testosterone, which drives sperm production. In women, it's this delicate dance between estrogen and progesterone that runs the menstrual cycle and gets the body ready for a possible pregnancy. Now, one of the absolute peak moments in this hormonal story happens around day 14 of the female cycle. You see this massive, sudden spike in luteinizing hormone, or LH. This LH surge is the starting gun. It's the one signal that tells the ovary, okay, it's time, and triggers ovulation, the release of that waiting egg. Without that surge, nothing happens. So the key takeaway here is that the female hormonal system is a cycle. Every single month, like clockwork, it carefully prepares the body for a potential pregnancy. It builds up the uterine lining, it gets an egg ready and releases it, and if fertilization doesn't happen, no problem. The system just hits reset, and the whole preparation starts all over again for the next month. And all of this whole incredible 9-month journey, it all leads here, to the grand finale, the final act of the story, the process of birth, which we call parturition. After about 9 months of non-stop work, a signal is sent, actually from the fully developed fetus itself, basically saying, okay, I'm ready. This signal triggers the release of a hormone called oxytocin, and that's what causes those powerful, rhythmic contractions of the uterus. This is the engine of labor, pushing the baby out on its final journey into the world. So when you really step back and look at the whole thing, from 2 tiny cells you can't even see, through this perfect symphony of hormones and cell division, all the way to a thinking, feeling, breathing human being, you just have to wonder, right? Is there really a more amazing story than that? Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.